Breaking news in Aberdeen. The city mayor finds himself in hot water after the state auditor's office confirms he was arrested today. Our Quentin Smith, he joins us live from outside the Monroe County City Hall. Quentin, do we know what charges loom over the mayor?
Well, Scott, the state auditor's office is staying tight-lipped about everything right now, but Aberdeen Mayor Maurice Howard tells me he is being charged with 4 counts of embezzlement. These charges stem from alleged incidents that happened back in 2016 and in 2017. Now, Mayor Howard, he's accused of lying about taking trips and pocketing the money that was supposed to be used for those trips. The amount of money that Howard is accused of embezzling ranges from $400 to up to $1,200. Now, we spoke with Mayor Howard. He says these allegations are all false. According to Howard, he took every trip for business purposes and did not steal any money. He says members on the Board of Aldermen are trying to slander his name by accusing him of what he calls false accusations.
All of these charges have been approved by the Board of Aldermen. Therefore, there is no embezzlement. The mayor has no access to funds. There was no access to funds from the mayor. The mayor can't touch 1 penny unless the board approves it. Once the board approves it from that table, they then cut me a check, and I use that money to travel with. I use that money for gas. I use that money for mileage on my vehicle, the wear and tear, and I also use that money for my per diem, in which I've done all of those things.
Now, the mayor was arrested around 6 o'clock this evening and was released on a $10,000 bail. Howard says he has now hired attorneys and his court appearance is set for December. Now, the state auditor's office tells us they will not release any other details on this situation until tomorrow morning. Now, of course, we're going to continue to follow this developing story and bring you the latest details as they unfold. But for now, reporting live in Aberdeen, Quentin Smith, WCBI News.
And as you can see there in Aberdeen, we do have some wet weather across our region. Some showers moving across the region from southwest to northeast. There's actually some heavier rain down across southern parts of Mississippi. You can see that right here. Even some severe weather, some warnings down there right now. We are watching out for the possibility of a gusty storm or two later this evening. We're still mild, well into the upper 60s and low 70s, much cooler behind that front. And that front, guess what, is coming our way. So the front moves through anytime between about 1 and 4 o'clock tonight. And we are looking at low 50s or even upper 40s at 7 o'clock. 40s for a good chunk of our day tomorrow, your Halloween day. Clouds will thin out, and by trick-or-treating, only in the lower 40s. I'm back with a full forecast coming up.
The recent rains have caused quite a bit of flash flooding in areas especially prone to fast rising waters. Our Cash Matlock takes a look at why it's an issue and one that comes with a costly price to fix.
Rain, rain, and more rain. It's something the Friendly City has seen a lot of this week, and the infrastructure downtown is struggling to keep up.
It's really because of localized ditches that are either built inadequately years and years ago by developers, prior regulations, whether it be the city's regulation, state regulation, or federal regulation.
Kevin Stafford is an engineer for the city of Columbus. He says drainage codes for severe flooding were put into place in the late 70s and early 80s, a good while after major parts of the city were developed.
There's entire neighborhoods in the city that are built that if were brought to us today, we would not be able to allow them to be built the way they are because they're too low because of flooding issues.
Over the weekend, Columbus experienced 2 to 6 inches of rainfall. Today, the city endured another 2 to 4 inches.
When water comes down so fast, several inches per hour, those rain rates, it's got to go somewhere. Concrete will funnel that into, drainage areas. It will build up in certain areas. Some spots may not see flooding, but especially the urbanized spots, we'll see that flooding risk a little bit higher in these extreme rainfall events.
The issue is that only the newer developments in Columbus have up-to-date drainage systems.
Newer developments, they're going to have either underground or above ground detention. For instance, Lee Mall. Lee Mall was built well before all this regulation. If it were built the way it were today, it would have to have a detention pond. So let's just jump right across the street on 18th Avenue at the new hotel development. They have 2 detention ponds. And so that's a perfect example of similar size footprints, 2 totally different ways to develop it based on the stormwater regulations that are now in place.
And according to Stafford, the city's drainage issues are far from over.
That drainage plan in a 70s footprint of the city, which is much smaller than it is today, estimated that to repair the issues they saw for just the localized flooding was a $15 million fix in 72 money.
Stafford says the issue simply can't be fixed with money. They can only be solved over time through public works or through highly competitive grants. Flash flooding covers roads and threatens homes in West Point this morning, and police even had to rescue 2 dogs. It was an issue in West Point. Police, they rescued those 2 dogs. You can see there the water topping over ditches on Meadowbrook Circle, even flowing into the yards of homeowners. Now the dog houses, they can be seen filling with water in the backyard of a home. Some scary sights there, but looky there, West Point officers, they were seen getting those dogs out of harm's way. Clay County Emergency Management reported about 10 areas of flash flooding this morning. February storm and tornado victims needing assistance have one more day to visit the FEMA Recovery Center Columbus. Tomorrow will be the last day the center will be open. The center will close for good at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Survivors will still be able to get assistance from FEMA on the phone, though the Columbus Disaster Recovery Center is set up at the East Columbus Gym at 222 Lawrence Drive. For more information on storm and tornado damage assistance, just visit our website, wcbi.com. New tonight, we're less than a week away from the general election. Courtney Ann Jackson has a few reminders and tips as you get ready to cast your vote.
Christina Louie is casting her ballot.
I wasn't going to be able to get to the polls the day of election due to my job, so I came on in to vote absentee.
She grew up with her family members working the polls, so she's always known the importance of voter education and its issues like infrastructure, where she understands the consequences of this election.
Bad roads. I mean, I need to know where my money's going to. I need to know how it's going to be going, you know. So I need to know who's going to be in charge of distributing that money.
If you're not going to be able to go to the polls Tuesday, you have till Saturday at noon to go to your circuit clerk's office to vote absentee. But if you plan to turn out next Tuesday, make sure you're ready. You can go to y'allvote.sos.ms.gov. There you'll find information to prepare you. Under voter information is the polling place locator. Type in your address and it will show you where to go vote, and will show you a sample ballot. Hinds County Circuit Clerk Zach Wallace says that voter education is an important piece.
That saved them a lot of trouble looking at the ballot. Like I say, it's a double-sided ballot.
Wallace says doing your homework is beneficial, whether you're voting absentee or next Tuesday.
Yeah, we get a lot of questions sometimes. Who is this person here? I need some assistance. What is this person running for? I never heard of this person.
No matter the day you vote, you will need your ID. And like Christina Louie says,
voting absentee is better than not voting at all.
Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
Final preparations are underway for President Donald Trump's visit Friday to the city of Tupelo. The city has been working for weeks with the Secret Service, the White House, and President Trump's re-election campaign in advance of his visit Friday. The president will speak at a rally Friday evening for Tate Reeves at the Bangor South Arena. Tupelo officials say that a lot of planning has gone into the event, and all departments are available as support for the president's visit.
A lot of that information can't be disclosed to the public, but just know that our police department, fire department, even public works department is working hand in hand with the presidential security team to do everything we can to make sure the president's safety is protected here in the city of Tupelo.
And just a heads up, there will be street closures around the arena, and the airport will be closed to regular traffic while Air Force One is in the airspace and on the tarmac.